upbringing is that I'm born of Linda and Paul Ngozi-Nyirongo. These are well-known names in Zambia. And they died when I was 7. They were both rock stars. And by far and large, they're considered to be amongst the best musicians in Africa. It's just that maybe at the time when they died. But I mean, his music is being used right now in Hollywood and all of that. That's primarily how I was introduced, I think, to the mind of thinking beyond your environment. And on top of that, my dad was an entrepreneur. So besides just being talented as a musician, he was also involved in various types of businesses. Fast forward probably about 15 years later, I'm now an entrepreneur. I realized that he had sowed a lot of seed on how I perceive what it means to being an entrepreneur, that it shouldn't just be within the sphere of your neighborhood or your country, but how you can transcend your borders and have a product that gets to be cross-culture in form and in service. Growing up in a background where the ideal thing is work hard, get a job, and then have a secure life. What helped me have a different mindset from an early age was, I would say, my first boss. He came in from the US and he just came in from Columbia Business School. And at the time, it was amongst the top 10 business schools in the world. He had worked for Yahoo, he had his own startup. So this was around the dot-com boom era. And so he came into Zambia and he was setting up the first web development company, struck the first biggest internet cafe in Zambia. So he brought me on board as one of his proteges. You know, he picked something in me and they said, look, I think you could have a knack for being a natural salesperson. He would always tell me the greatest gift that you can ever give to yourself is whenever you're pitching a service or product to a client, always think, how can you own their company? It doesn't matter how big. That had an impact on me. When the company shut down, he decided to head back to the US because the markets were not so big at the time. And so I got onto a second job. Within day one, when I got into that job, they said, look, there's something a little different about you. We'll give you a try. As a matter of fact, they even said, we're not hiring right now. And so my counter pitch to them was, look, why don't you hire me for 30 days? Let's see how it's gonna pan out. If you don't like it, hey, nobody has to lose. You don't have to pay me anything. And at the very least, I would have networked with either you guys or your clients. And so I stayed on with them for, I think, about 2 months. And at the end of that, they gave me a job offer. They told me, look, within months, we want you to take over in marketing. And I think I was about 21, 22 years at that point. You know, so they were a great team. It was owned by 2 Greek guys. I learned quite a lot from them. Their approach was sort of unorthodox. They didn't really believe in structures, in processes, and all of that. Their interest was, look, just show me the money, as the American saying goes, show me the money. That was their interest. They just wanted me to bring in the sales on a monthly basis. First major sale I brought in was from UN, you know, under one of the UN organs, UNICEF. And I think the deal was valued about $1.5 million, which was the biggest order they'd ever received at that point. I think that sort of put my name cast in the wall that I'm here and I'm here to stay. And I stayed on, I think, for the next maybe 3 years. And thereafter, I just felt it was time. The desire of wanting to become an entrepreneur and just sort of run my own thing grew more and more the more I got exposed with traveling and also just exposing myself to a certain type of content through the books I was reading, that I decided in 2006 to start my first company.